Some daycares in Ontario are threatening to shut down because of the new funding model. A group of for-profit operators are going to be shutting down for the week of October 21st in order to have their voices be heard. They're saying that the new funding model for the $10 a day program isn't good for them. And while they support more affordable daycare, they're saying that the funding approach doesn't work for those who have unconventional costs. And they're saying that if their protests don't lead to any change, they may be forced to close for good or opt out of the program or significantly downgrade their offerings. Full disclosure, my child is in a for-profit daycare and we do get the subsidy, but my daycare company has not said anything about this program being an issue. And they operate dozens of daycare locations across the province. A complaint that these centers have is that the government's guidelines are too vague, leaving it unclear which of their expenses would be eligible under the new plan. And they worry that the plan won't cover things that make their center stand out, like parties for families or extra staff, with one operator being worried that this program will make them cookie-cutter childcare centers. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education is blaming Ottawa for not providing more funding, even though this doesn't seem to be an issue in the rest of the country, including in Quebec, where they've already had this program for 20 years. Whereas a spokesperson for the Minister of Families, Children and Social Development said that the new rules allow for operators to make healthy profits, but not excessive profits off of hardworking families trying to find a spot for their kid. And while I generally do agree with that sentiment, it should be noted that this government does like to take pot shots at organizations and industries that are female-dominated, such as childcare and education. So it's no surprise that the Ford government isn't trying to take any responsibility for this and instead trying to point fingers. Especially because nonprofit operators are saying that they're not really affected. But the policy coordinator for the nonprofit Ontario Coalition for Better Childcare is saying that the bulk of current complaints are coming from the for-profit sector. And it kind of sucks when a for-profit operator is saying they want to make as much profit as possible but still be a recipient of public funding. I think the program has been great so far. Families are saving tons of money, and that money then goes back into the economy because we have more money to spend. We were able to afford to have a second child. More women are entering the workforce. This policy is a no-brainer. It's a win. So we should be listening to the complaints of these for-profit operators to make sure that the program is successful. But if they're asking for more than they need, they shouldn't be getting it, because our tax dollars shouldn't be funding what differentiates them from their competition, especially when their competition is not for profit.